Hey guys, welcome back to ArtosisCasts. We're going to be looking at probably the best Protoss in the world overall. Snow here in the top left, going up against one of the greatest StarCraft 2 players to ever do it in Sue. Sue getting awfully close to being in ASL right now. It's going to happen. It's coming. We can all see it. Yeah, the guy is getting very strong. The funny thing is, he's one of these guys that right now is kind of being teased by the other pro gamers because the very top guys are still slamming him. But that's, you know, that happens to so many players. Like, Calm gets slammed all the time. He's in ASL all the time. Shuttle gets slammed all the time. Some of these guys, just the pros love to make fun of and tease and everything. It's in a loving way because they just don't have good win rates against the top guys. But how many people do? You know, it's ridiculous. We have ASL regulars, guys that are in almost every season of ASL and can barely take maps off the top guys. So I just, you know, it is what it is, I guess. We're on the map Knockout, and yeah, Snow looks like he is getting ready for, okay, it is going to be a gateway. Yeah, I guess we kind of knew that. It was either going to be Nexus first or gateway, because if you go forward, you always scout immediately. Unless, of course, it's a Nexus before that, like a blind Nexus first. But he's not going to do that on ladder here against Sue. Sue has gone for an overpool here, so that's Overlord into spawning pool. And yeah, like that'll make it. Overpool versus Gateway Expand is like, that's been pretty darn standard openers going against each other for quite some time. And yeah, I think he should be completely fine against the pressure coming out of Snow. But we shall see about that. You know, while we kind of wait for this game to pick up a little bit, I do want to thank you guys for tuning in to ArtosisCasts. Much love to everyone who continues to tune in all the time. Like the videos, leave a comment, subscribe. That's always an amazing thing to do, is to subscribe to the channel. It is highly, highly appreciated. Thank you guys. You're the best. Okay. 4 Lings on the way, pretty standard. First Zealot is out and the Overlord sees it. The Zealot just going to sit back. Sometimes you run the Zealot out, then run it back just to make him think it might be on the map. But Snow not playing those games right now. One Zergling going to chase the Pro Boy, so that'll kind of help the drone to get the third hatchery down. We'll see if he takes 6 o'clock or this mineral base. I could see either being taken. The mineral base, you know, it does get pretty clogged down here when you get additional hatcheries, but it's a little bit further away, so you do have to watch out for sometimes like speed Zealot harassment will come down here, or a Zealot will sneak its way out and get down there, and it'll be really annoying to deal with just because it's a bit further away. But it is a better overall base. 3, 6, 7, 3, 6. So there's an additional mineral patch here as well as a gas. That's very oftentimes the case. Generally, mineral-only bases on professional maps generally will have one less patch, obviously no gas, and be extremely easy to take. That's kind of like when you see a mineral base, that will almost always be the case in modern map making. It's like super easy. It's like, you know, that's the choice you have to make. Do I want something super easy to take that's just not as good in, you know, economically speaking, but like I can take it faster, so it's better in that way, right? The ins and outs of map making. So a little bit of harassment here from Sue. Goes after the pylon for a second. You can notice he's not going to walk down. He doesn't want this getting in. He'll eventually get rid of it. It's not, you know, one Zergling's not very scary. Probe actually slips in past Sue there, so he's going to be able to see the layer. And that's going to put his heart at ease that he doesn't need to get mass cannons here or anything. And of course, as you guys know, this little strip has low ground right where I'm making the box. I believe I got the edges correct right there. It's a little bit fuzzy exactly where every pixel is. But yeah, that area is low ground, so it's very hard to actually push up against cannons here. Ooh, really nice position behind the gas there. So, you know, he's doing pretty darn well with the Zealots. Very annoying here for Sue. Oh, wow. Look at that. Look at that. That is annoying. Kind of funny looking. 3 more Zealots coming down, man. Sue getting a lot of pressure. He has another 8 Lings that are going to be hatching, so it is going to be enough. His drone count not super high at the moment. He's being forced into a lot of this. And the Zealot's just going to go back into a very cost-efficient type of area here. As you can see, you just can't get good surface area. If the Zealots are in the middle of the map, it's so easy to kill. When there's someone like this, so hard to kill. Very, very difficult to deal with. And Snow is, you know, he's just a micro god, so he gets them all into a great position here, and they'll trade as well as they possibly can. Can't really hope for better than what these Zealots have done. And Sue clears them with his mass speedling and will get out onto the map now. Spire is on the way. Down here, a couple drones so far. Probably do mostly drone production for a bit. Air attack coming up right after that Stargate. No +1 as of yet. It is a Spire from Sue, so we'll see if he goes into Mutalisks with his Scourge. Like, you're always going to see at least 4 Scourge when the Spire comes up. But the question is about the Mutas. Ooh. Robotics. Okay, so Robotics, we've seen it a little bit more lately. I think I've seen Corsair Reaver on Knockout once. I'm trying really hard to remember exactly, but I believe, was it Mini that did this early on in ASL Season 20? I believe that it was. I believe it was. But either way, this is a funny thing that's going on right now, because we've talked a lot on this channel about 2 Stargate Corsair and how popular it's been getting. Okay? And like we've definitely seen a huge rise since the very first day where I'm like, I think this is going to be the meta, guys. And like, we've seen a huge rise in 2 Stargate Corsair. Now, a natural evolution of 2 Stargate Corsair would be like maybe getting Reavers with that. Okay? And another natural progression of 2 Stargate Corsair is to still play it similarly to 2 Stargate Corsair, but to get rid of one of the Stargates. And I know that sounds completely insane, but hear me out as we watch these Zealots magnificently go behind this gas. So what I mean by that, guys, is basically you can... Okay, think about it this way. So, like, FD Terran, fake double, that stands for making a build look like 2 factory, but it's actually 1 factory. So you put on a similar amount of pressure, evoke a similar response, but with less commitment. Okay? So something like that could exist with 2 Stargate Corsair, where you evoke a similar response, making it kind of look like that. I'm just saying, this is a real possibility. We see a lot of strategies evolve like this. Oh, another very recent one from like a year and a half ago. What? Because that one I just told you, FD came out in like 2004 or 5. Okay, so that's an old one. But here's a newer one. So expansion into 3 tank push off of 2 factories in Terran vs. Protoss eventually evolved into a 1 tank push. A 1 tank push, because everyone was countering the 3 tank push really hard. But to counter that, they had to get their buildings earlier to counter it, and would have like slightly less goons, so you could push with 1 tank, and it would actually be more effective. Sounds crazy, right? But these are some of the things. It's like, if you've read The Art of Winning, making smaller circles, that type of idea from Josh Waitzkin definitely exists in the mastery of StarCraft and in the evolution of the metagame. Now, Hydra's coming out. We have ranged attack on the way. This is going to be very exciting. Okay? We're going to watch Snow, the greatest Reaver microer in the history of Earth by miles, guys. He's going to have his speed shuttle with Reavers going here against Zerg, and we're going to see what he can do. By the way, his first professional win in this matchup was Reaver-based. It was against Solkyon Whiteout many seasons ago in ASL. He actually had like 15 years of no PvZ wins in Pro Leagues. Isn't that crazy? Okay, now here comes the Reaver, getting some very good damage. Damn! That is a lot of probes. I mean, a lot of drones. A lot of SCVs, guys. A lot of villagers. A lot of acolytes or wisps. Whatever, it doesn't matter. The workers, many of them died. Good moves. All right. Here comes the Reaver right through here. He keeps it alive, loses a Corsair. Not a huge deal to lose a Corsair here. We don't see the burrow upgrade. You know, I'm sure Sue knows about it. You know, I introduce him as one of the best StarCraft 2 players ever, because he really actually is. Even if his level isn't that right now. He's one of the most successful ever. But he was a StarCraft 1 pro before that, don't forget. He played in Pro League and stuff. Like, he wasn't super successful, but he was on SK Telecom and everything, so I just want to put that out there so people are aware that this guy, he knows stuff, okay? Okay, looking back here. Reavers still. Citadel is up for Zealot legs, but we don't see a Templar Archives. We don't see a third base from Snow yet. Oh my god. 54 probes, so he's still got a very solid economy. I'm excited to see where he expands. Normal Snow play is this is a third, and right after that is a fourth, but we'll see with the Reaver-based play if that's what he wants to do. Reavers are more mineral intense, so it would make sense to still go in that pattern. He's getting Reaver damage right now, so to add 25 damage per Scarab. It's a huge upgrade. It's only become popular in the last 3 years. Maybe 4 years. Plus 2 weapons here for Sue. Sue's doing a pretty good job at blocking it overall. Like, he has lost some for sure. But don't forget, like, these types of strats have a harder... Oh my god, this is... If there were Scourge here, this would be terrible, but he is finding, like, this open window. Okay, gets 2 drones, and he's just going to get out. Hey, that's a great move. You can do that. That's a great move. And I don't see more Scourge being made. By the way, Lurker Tech on the way here from Sue. Not too surprised to see. The one thing Sue is very well known for in StarCraft 2 is hitting his head against brick walls. But he's one of the best macro players ever to do it. Like, his skill set is not in necessarily thinking outside the box, but in making tons of units and winning despite what you're doing. So I'm not too surprised to see him tech into Lurkers against Reavers. It sounds silly, doesn't it? But, I mean, what else is he supposed to do? Is he supposed to be Larva Big Brain and go Queens? That would be sick. That would be sick. There's no way that you don't think Ensnare is super strong here. Okay, a lot of speed Zealots coming out right now. As these 2 Zealots in the front, these are kind of spotting for where things are. 1 Reaver, good amount of speed Zealots. 1-1 upgrades already, so that's really good. See, ooh, he tried to snipe that, but Snow is not likely to lose a shuttle to Hydras quickly. You're going to have to really overwhelm him. Corsair's way out of position, but he doesn't need them. There's nothing actually threatening his shuttle. There's no more anything that flies. Hold position Lurkers. Oh my god, so smart. And then he lets them off. Oh, Snow pulls back instantaneously when he sees those spines. Good choice, good choice. Shuttle gets flanked. Oh, Snow gonna lose this Reaver as well. He's taking a ton of damage. Oh my god, are you serious? It was on high ground, so there was a bunch of missed shots there as well. He actually somehow saves that Reaver. Now, we should have observers coming up. Okay, yeah, there is an observer on the way. 2-2 are coming up, is coming up as well. There's a third Nexus. Snow almost always, when he takes a mineral base like this, will take this base by the time that Nexus finishes or so. Within, you know, I would say within a minute of the Nexus finishing, he almost always has a 4th base coming up. It's very common for him on Protoss vs. Zerg. Okay, here comes the counterattack. Corsair is still rotating around a little bit. He's going to force a cancel here. There's no way you can finish that. Yep, forces the cancel. This has looked really cool from Snow, but Sue is actually putting on really great counter pressure here. There are some High Templars coming out, so Psystorm could be extra deadly here as well. Zealots going for the mineral-only base. There's no Lurkers here, so they could potentially kill this off. He gets rid of the Reaver. He gets rid of the one of the High Templars here. Another one here. Going to be able to pick that off as well. Gets it. Still a little bit hard to attack into that area. Zealot's still dealing a lot of damage. I honestly have no idea which way this game's going to go. Supply-wise, it looks good for Snow. But there are 4 bases against 2. So, like, this is still doable for Sue. Few Lurkers burrow in here. And he cleans up the Zealots. So he did not lose this hatch. His drone count at 42 is not bad. He lost some Overlords in there, so that's a little bit of a pain, but not the end of the world, necessarily. The Dragoons coming out to fight. This is Snow wanting very quickly to reclaim this area. Well, I guess it's more like that area, so that he can remake his Nexus. Because if you get, like, an actual Lurker Hydra contain here, it's not really breakable. Protoss has to control this area before Lurkers are in position, and you can see that this might actually lead to a Sue victory. Reavers are going to give you more potential to push out of this than High Templars would. Reavers aren't going to miss shots, right? So you can actually push through the actual Lurkers reasonably quickly. You can shoot up to the high ground with them as well. So he's actually clearing this really, really well. It's very interesting. It's very interesting seeing this. The one thing I want to mention is if you end up losing these Corsairs, I feel like it would be almost a free win to just make mutas at this point. So it's really important to keep these alive. Even though these are not being super active, I would rather see them not be active than hunt Overlords and die. Because his army simply cannot deal with Mutalisks without the Corsairs. So I just want to put that out there. Can you imagine if we had team melee, like a team melee match, and we had Bisu utilizing Corsairs and Zealots, and Snow utilizing Reavers? How insane that would be. Could anyone beat that? Could anyone in the whole world have a chance against that? Bisu keeping your Corsairs alive and Snow microing around. Insane. Yeah, let me know in the comments if you think literally any Zerg could beat that, or even any team of Zergs. Just in, like, Corsairs, Bisu Corsairs are just so next level, and the Reaver from Snow is so next level. I'm like, I don't know, man. That sounds unbeatable to me. Okay, 4th Nexus is coming up pretty quickly. See, it's already started before this one's done. Not a big surprise. He's going to try to hold this position. This is the important thing. As long as Snow holds here, he has a good chance in this game to win. Su, he's setting up a very defensive position. The lurkers are not well spread right now, and he doesn't have great defense down here, but like that all can be fixed. He can kind of set up some defense here and make this messy. He can spread the lurkers out here and make it really hard to attack. He's on 4 base, but only 3 gas. You know, he's going to be able to macro up a lot here. And generally, one of the big ways to beat Reaver-based Protoss, wow, 28 kills, is Overwhelm. Reavers are fantastic, but they don't shoot that fast, so a lot of times the way that you end up beating them is just overwhelming Protoss's position. Whereas with Psystorm, that's like the opposite way that you want to do it, right? You try to overwhelm someone with Psystorm, they just cast a couple more Psystorms and you lose. You got to be more careful about like picking them off. Whereas picking off Reavers, like, yeah, you want to do that in the battle, but it's like push so much in that you just, everything dies. Wow. Very good Storm drop. Very good. Kills a lot of drones there. Some pretty heavy damage onto some of these Corsairs, but keeps 6 of them alive, so that's still enough, I would say, to stop mutas from being made. Big Hydra army rotating towards this base. 2 Reavers plus some cannons. A shield battery in there as well. The shield battery is doing multiple things. It's going to heal the Reavers, but it's also going to block the Hydras from running up and sniping this Reaver. That's excellent placement. The Hydra standing here will have a hard time sniping. So it's like, what, do you move them up through this to get that? You'll see. It's about to happen. Okay, comes in. And see this? See how hard it is to actually get to that Reaver in this position? Targets down all the cannons quickly, but the Reavers have already chunked out so much. Holy crap. Another attack, though, comes up on this 3rd base. This is actually an even more important location in many ways. If Su were to take this base over, I think the game would go to him pretty quickly, but unable to do so. Snow coming back and clearing this out very, very quickly. Couple more cannons coming up. So he's survived all of those units. Su still has big supply. This is kind of like a Su special. He's like, yeah, I lost all those units, but here's another army? Raises up into a question at the here's another army? Can I win still? But I don't think he's going to have enough, even though he still has pretty decent supply considering. It's almost purely Hydra. He is making a few lurkers in there, but of course against Psystorm plus Dragoon plus cannons plus High Templar. I mean, I already said that. Plus Reaver, you know, it just doesn't seem all that good. 2-3 upgrades rather. Oh, okay. So Su literally just leaves the game as Storm drops come down 8 kills, and then he was going to get more. Snow still Psystorming everything. I think he's just kind of checking what there was. It was kind of a sudden leave. They're both playing on barcodes, so they just might not have any idea who it is. If they were playing on their real IDs, 100% you'll see a GG there. Anyways, I almost feel like you could tell it was Snow from the Reavers. Guys, let me know in the comments if you think that there's any possibility that Reaver becomes a usable tech in this matchup for early game. Okay? Because we used to have it be like, I would say the most popular Reaver openers ever was like 10 to 15% maximum of Corsair Reaver, and the rest all High Templar based. Of course, there's been specialty cheeses. I'm talking about normal macro openers. I don't think it will ever get to that. This is the heaviest Reaver usage. Like, we're seeing it right at this second. And I don't know if we will see it continue. Because Zergs are going to very quickly get better at playing against the Reavers. Remember all the old tricks and stuff. So I don't know. I hope that it comes back. I hope that there's a choice. Like, can you imagine if 20% of all games that we saw in PvZ were Reaver instead of High Templar openers? How exciting is that? That's incredibly exciting to see something like that. But again, I don't think it'll be the case, but let me know what you think. It's still evolving, so can't say for sure. Thank you for watching, guys. We'll see you next time.